Chief Financial Officer of Florida. much. You know, back in March of last year, I had the privilege of coming to Orlando and talking with some folks from this area about the home mortgage crisis. I met a woman, Deanna Gratelli. She told me her story, and it could be a story told across Florida and America. She had lost her job. She had never been without a job before. In fact, she had served in the military for our country. Panic struck. She and her husband weren't sure how they'd make it through the holidays. Now, Deanna found some work cleaning condos. She and her husband decided to try to refinance. She explained the situation to the mortgage company. A representative of the mortgage company asked her to say that she had a job paying $5,000 a month, even though she was unemployed. Well, Deanna said she didn't think that was the right thing to do, and when the notary came to finalize the papers, she refused to sign it. Now, when we met early last year, she already had to sell her home to a neighbor. So now she's back, being a renter, but still able to live in her own home. And I know how many people are in that position. A year and a half later, she and her husband are now both working, but they are still in the same situation. They can't afford their home. She works at the VA hospital. She's a veteran, having served in the Navy. I believe that Deanna, her husband, and every one of us deserves to have a president who will stand up and for too long, Deanna and hard-working Floridians, the middle class of this country, have been invisible to the Washington Republicans, and it wasn't until Wall Street got into trouble. The big financial firms, the big insurance firms, the big banks, they went to Washington and said, we need a bailout, and the Republicans gave it to them. Well, who's going to bail out the